Hi everyone, it's Shirley Farrar from Encouragement on Fire. We're doing something a little different today. So I'm coming to you from my kitchen. And so I'm just doing a little, yeah, here I am.
New backdrop.
Yeah, doing a different backdrop today. I want to see how this goes. All right, excellent. All right. So I am so glad that you decided to join us today. This is podcast number 19. Oh my goodness, number 19. Can you believe it? I have Pastor Darrell Farrar from the Meeting House Church with me, my husband. Yes, he's off site. But it's podcast number 19, you guys. We're moving along. I'm excited. And today I want to get a little personal. I told you before that each time I come before you, I'm going to talk about what I know and also give you the research behind some things I don't know. And one in particular today, I'm going to put it in the chat. So, you know, I did a little social media letting you know what we were going to talk about today. And on this podcast, number 19, it is about defeating cancer, sickness, disease. But today we're going to discuss inflammation in the body. Now, I particularly have been going through inflammation in the body lately. And though I came through the cancer, it's a new way of learning how to eat, how to live. And sometimes you think that, you know, at least I got to be personal. Sometimes I thought, well, I can, you know, go back to some of the eating habits that I was doing. I can't. So I'm learning that and I'm owning it. And, you know, I know they say, well, sometimes you can go back to it. I just decided this week, I'm just going to go about it totally different. My eating is just going to go back to the way it was when I was on the chemo and just begin to just eat totally healthy. That's the goal. That's what I'm going to do. So I hope that if you're with me online, that you click in and you let me know that you're there. You say, hey, how you doing? Whether you call me Shirley, whether you call me Pastor Shirley, whether you call me, hey girl, what's up? Whatever it is, our relationship. Also, I just want to give a shout out to everybody on social media, on Facebook group, on YouTube, on our meetup, on Instagram, everyone who is tuning in, welcome to Encouragement on Fire. This podcast is about defeating cancer, sickness, and disease. One of the things that I wanted to show you today is this particular card. I was led to design it for you. So I'm going to show that to you right there so you can see it. Let me see.
Oh, that's over. Okay.
There you go. It's called Encouragement on Fire. And just like people have a business card, well, this is the card that I hand a lot of people. Not everyone, but there are individuals, and as you can see on the back, it may be backwards, but at least you can see it. My YouTube information, Facebook information, our housebreachrestoration.org information. I want everyone to be able to get in contact with us, to locate us. Hey, Sister Josephine, good to see you. Love you. I just want to make sure that anyone who's going through cancer, anyone who has come out of cancer, anyone who's back in cancer, anyone who's going through any sickness or disease, whatever it is you're going through, you know, I'm a faith-based person and I believe that you can be healed in your body, whether that is through God touching your body and you just get a miraculous healing, or you eat the right foods and do the right activities in order to promote your body to heal and to move forward. But this card right here, I'm passing it out to many people that I come in contact with, especially if they tell me that they've had some loved ones that went on to be with the Lord, or through sickness, or they've told me that themselves have gone through some things. And this is just to pass to them to let other people know that you do not have to be alone. So I'm saying everyone on here, if you've gotten this card from me, I would appreciate you passing it on. If it's not for you, that's fine, but pass it on to someone who is really in need, who needs someone to talk to them through the YouTube or through social media, someone who's available to talk about sickness and disease, because everyone does not want to get into this conversation. A lot of people avoid this conversation, but I'm coming to you in your kitchens. I'm coming to you in your living rooms, wherever you are. I'm coming to you, and I will be available, whether it's on chat, on the YouTube, or whether it's on the Facebook group or other platforms that we may have. Okay. All right. So we're going to move forward. I hope that many of you are still reading your book, right? Damon Davis's book, God Cures. How many of you have been reading the book? I'm hoping that it's many of you. We're up to, I believe, chapter 7. And remember, we're not going to talk about everything that he's talking about, but there's some highlights that I just want to talk about. And one stood out to me. Oh my goodness. One part of this, Pastor Darrell, one of his, I guess it's like his little 3 or 4 sentences. And I said I had to share it tonight because we were going to talk about inflammation in the body. And if you go into chapter 7, he says, when I discovered what was going on in my body was really a master strategy of Satan to kill what God put in me for the world to see. That's huge. And he said, it really got me motivated. Looking back, I can see the devil's handiwork to stop me at every turn and impede me at every step in my acceleration toward my destiny. Now, many of you that are watching and you're listening, you're always talking about, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Some of you have found out your purpose. And then all of a sudden, here comes sickness and disease. Or some of you may have never walked in your purpose, and here comes sickness and disease. And I like what Damon Davis said here. He's saying to you, it's a master plan of the enemy. Because if he can get your body to defy you, if he can get your body to slow you down, think about it. If you're an athlete and now your body doesn't work for you, you're limited on what you can do athletically. However, doesn't mean your purpose is gone. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. We always look at, what is my purpose in life? Well, what is your purpose? The things you do are only the things that God allows you to do to then allow the purpose in you to move out and to expel into this land. But when you think about it, what are you purposed for? So I always say, I like to start with me. So when I was a little girl, like I told y'all before, I like to talk. But that's only one thing that I do. So, hey, somebody else go, hey, Lady Gwen, good to see you. And then another part is I like to sing. So in this, God is showing me that there is a voice in you, Shirley, that has to come out. Every time and every point in my life, even now, I'm a counselor at a college, career counselor. So I'm always helping people to get from point A to point B, to point C, point D, point E, no matter what I do. I can be a career counselor. I can be a career coach or coach. I can be someone in my community. I can be a religious leader. It doesn't matter. The same purpose is always in the underline of everything.
So you're saying that you need to be adaptable.
I got to be adaptable. And also everyone on here. So think about, what if you're looking for your purpose in life, what is it that you always have done from the time you were very small to now? What have you always done? No matter what, it always shows up. It's not the actual thing that you do. It's what people feel or what they gather from when you come in their presence. And if people are always telling you, oh, when I talk to you this, or listen. Okay, so we're going to get to inflammation, because I can get into this, me and Pastor Darrell, I'm a pastor too. I love to preach. So anyway, so let's get into the inflammation part. So like I was telling you guys, I have dealt with a lot of inflammation since going through the chemo, which, remember, the chemo still has to work its way out of your body. But it's not that. It's the foods that I was eating. So now I had to learn to eat again normal after the chemo. But now, even in that, what is best for my body that has adjusted? Like, you know how after 6 months of chemo or 7 to 8 months of chemo, now your body is a different plateau. And now you got to see, okay, what's working? So Pastor Darrell and I, we had talked before about epigenetics. And that is, I'm going to read you the definition. It says, the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. But remember, it's not permanent. It's not like DNA. It's not permanent unless you want it to be. Think about that. Unless you want it to be. So whatever the stress you're allowing on your body, whatever foods that you are eating, what lack of exercise that you are doing, all of those things are in the line of epigenetics, and it affects the way that you're affected every day.
And everyone's body reacts differently to it.
Everyone's body affected differently. Yes.
No, reacts
differently. Exactly. So how do you want to move forward in that? Do you want to stay in that? So let me say this to some of you out there. One of the things that was happening to me was every time I ate strawberries, allergic reaction. Some of you are having allergic reactions from some other things. Now, some of that could have been from birth, but all of a sudden, some of you know it just happened all of a sudden, right?
Every 7 years.
Every 7 years, your body's changing. So what's going on with you? Hey, Elder Cynthia, good to see you on. So really think about that. What is going on with you? Are your arms swelling, your legs swelling? Are these things that are happening to you all of a sudden? It hadn't been all your life. So what changed? Even if it's something 10 years in your life that has happened, what changed? Lack of activity, right? Possibly some of the foods that you're eating. So we're going to talk about some of that today because I'm being educated as I am sharing with you. I told you that I'm going to be as authentic as possible and bring to you what is actually happening in my life. So I'm going to read to you some statistics. All right. So remember, I'm always talking about balance of research, right? And faith. Got to keep the two together. Faith without works is dead. HopkinsMedicine.org, they talked about the research on inflammation. Inflammation causes every single disease. So I want us to sit on that. Every disease that you can possibly think of. Think of any sickness too, because sickness and disease, come on, right? But anything that you're going through that's not normal, that's not natural, is coming from something. And I have to tell you from reading the research, they're saying that everything is connected to inflammation in your body. Everything. So if you're thinking, well, I've been having this going on in my body. I've been having myself some numbness in my hands. This has happened to me since I've done the chemo. Now, they did say some things are going to be side effects from all of these things, and it can continue to happen, but it doesn't mean it has to be permanent. Remember, we said epigenetics doesn't have to be permanent. I can fix it. How? Through activity, through exercise, physical therapy.
Doing the work.
Doing the work. Okay? So, I just want you to be aware that that's what the HopkinsMedicine.org has stated. Now, there is another one that they stated. It said how to move toward anti-inflammatory lifestyle. How do you do that? Because I think that's the first thing we're always thinking about. Well, if some of you are smokers, stop smoking. Instantly, that's going to improve your anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Okay. Right. If you are a drinker, alcohol, stop drinking alcohol. Instantly, it's going to change that. Now, these are two things that I don't do, but if you're out there and those are two things. The other thing that I know I need to work on, maintaining a healthy weight. I have increased in my weight, and that's something that I need to work on, and I am working on it now. But what happened to me was the inflammation caused my feet to hurt and to swell. So guess what? Where I was working out, can't work out anymore. So everybody's saying, oh, well, stop eating so much. Sometimes you can eat like a bird. If you're online and you can eat like a bird and still not losing weight, put it on there. Yes, sometimes you eat like a bird and guess what? Still gaining weight. And you're like, how am I gaining weight? Because it's the food that you're eating.
Or you're not losing any.
Or you're not losing any weight. Exactly. You heard Pastor Derek. You're not losing any weight. So if you can't exercise, the doctor told me since I was young, once my metabolism changed, he said, Cheryl, you're going to need to work out 2 to 3 times a week. Cardio. That's what he told me. I can't speak for anyone else. Cardio 2 to 3 times a week in order for you to maintain your weight or to lose weight. So that's what he told me. So once I came through the chemo, I was like, all right. And then all of a sudden the pain came in my legs, in my feet. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do cardio if I'm hurting? There's always an answer. So with me, I started to pray, of course. And then, of course, listening to my mom, Elder Cynthia, my husband, my children, and then doing the research online, looking at some of those different things. And guess what? Inflammation and ingredients in food. And we're going to talk about that as we continue to move forward. If any of y'all you understand what I'm saying to you, I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to tell me something maybe that you even found out for your own body type. What's going on? Okay. But in that, I had to begin to say, okay, what can I do about this? So another statistic that I wanted to bring to your attention is there is a difference between, and I know many of you know this information, but you know what the Bible tells us? Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. We all know, and if you're a Christian or you're a religious person, we all know that we shouldn't sin, we shouldn't do bad things, but we do. Right? We do. So faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Okay. So there are two different things. All right. What she say? Too much inflammation is bad. Yes, absolutely. Too much inflammation in the body is horrible. So let's get to it. What type of inflammation are we talking about? So there's acute inflammation, and then there's chronic inflammation. I'm talking about chronic inflammation right now that leads to sickness and disease. Acute inflammation is just that. If you get an injury, all of a sudden the body goes to protect it. It's a life preserver. It starts to heal. It starts to go there and to do whatever is necessary to heal it. The problem with chronic inflammation is, guess what? Nothing's wrong with your body. And now it's got all these things going in these different areas trying to fix something that's not wrong. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So, of course, you don't want that to happen because that's when you get all that inflammation build up, right? We don't want that. So I want to go over some symptoms of inflammation. So if you have acute inflammation, let's just say that, you have an injury. Many of you have had scraped your leg or your arm or something like that. The skin looks a little different. You know how you've seen that, like a bruise on your skin starts to look a little different or a little flushed or whatever it is. You have pain and tenderness. You're like, oh, I had a splinter in my foot this past 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, please don't touch it. Please don't touch it. So you have, it's real tender and you don't want that because guess what? Inflammation started building up to expel, right? That little stick that was in my foot. And if I couldn't expel it that way, then of course you have to get it out, which my husband graciously got down there and got it out my foot. So good thing for Pastor Durham. And then you might have. It
wasn't just one.
Yeah, right. It wasn't
like 4 or 5 of them.
You might
little small ones.
You might also have abdominal pain. It depends on the area of the situation. And then chest pain comes with it. So now we're moving into like chronic. So if you start getting chest pains anywhere, or you start getting abdominal pains, you start getting a fever, even if you had an injury and you start getting those other pains, now it's moving from acute to chronic. So you make sure you understand that. And then joint pain. And didn't I just tell you? My feet, right? My hands, all that numbness. I'm like, what is going on? Well, it's my body's letting me know something is going on. And then I didn't get this one, mouth sores. I didn't get that one. But you might, those that are listening, and then skin rashes. Sometimes you get these skin rashes, like, what is that? But you also might have the pain and you may have some other things. Then you need to look into what that is. You need to go and see your doctor and find out what's going on. But in all of those, actually, the examples I gave you came from the clevelandclinic.org. So remember I told you, research, we're going to be believing God for our healing, but at the same time, you need to know what's going on. Foods that cause inflammation. I got this actually from the health, harvard.edu. And they were saying that the foods that now, I learned some things this week, I'm telling you, oh my goodness. I thought I knew a lot when I went through the chemo, but I'm learning a lot and I'm so appreciative. And as I learn, I'm going to share with you. If you're learning with me and you have some information that will help those that are listening, please type it in. I will say it if they cannot see it on certain phones. But refined carbohydrates. Now, I knew that I couldn't eat too many carbohydrates when I was on the chemo. But I'm learning that inflammation comes straight from the carbohydrates because of the white flour. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, I eat better breads or mm-mm, mm-mm. It has to come from certain things. There is actually one of the best breads that you can buy is the keto bread. Now, I know a lot of people say that's nasty bread. Yes. But the way that they process the bread is the healthiest for your body. So I just want you to look into it. Okay. Remember, it's not for you. It's not for you. And then French fries. Or fried foods, saturated fats. I know you're like, what? Omega 6. Too much omega 6 is not good for you. You need to have more omega 3 than omega 6. Trans fats. If anybody says good trans fats, they're lying. There are no such thing as good trans fats. Okay. So anything that's fried, if you're having inflammation, do not eat it at all. Not at all. I am learning that. Now, I went back to eating a few fried foods because when you go to the stores, you're trying to find something to eat, sometimes quick, right? And you're like, oh, I'll just go over here and I'll get this chicken sandwich. That's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to speak out of nowhere. This chicken sandwich. Well, you don't know what they did to it, right? Most of the time it's fried. So now that's in your body and your body's going to react from it. So you got to be careful with that. The other one, stay away from canola oil. There's a way, there's process that you can eat canola oil, but most of them, no. Soda, red meat, margarine, shortening, lard. You hear my dogs in the back. And this is one I'm going to tell everybody, no, there's two. Palm oil. Look in the ingredients inside of your cabinet. Do not eat it. It's not good for you. Okay. Now, some of you may be saying it's good for me. Okay. Well, then if it is, that's fine. I'm just telling you, it reacts in the body, especially if you have a lot of inflammation. Okay. So we're trying to get to an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And also that, what's it called? What's that called? I can't believe this is not butter.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little research on that too today. And guess what?
I can't believe that they selling
no,
that.
It causes inflammation. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. But guess what? If it works for you, go right ahead. I'm just saying that there's some ingredients in it that you may want to be mindful. So I never would tell you not to eat something. I'm saying look at the ingredients. There's some ingredients in it that you have to be really careful on. Okay. All right. And then let's talk about some foods that if we're going to decrease the inflammation, what should I be taking on a daily basis or weekly basis or whatever? First of all, we need to all start prepping our foods because then we won't get out to the store and we're like, whew, I'm hungry. I want something to eat. Well, we should always have something in our purses, our backpacks, something we can nibble on until we get home. So then we will not eat those inflammation foods. All right. So one of the things, like I said earlier, omega-3s. How can you do that? Walnuts, y'all. Salmon. Woo! Delicious salmon, right? Olive oil and I believe sunflower oil is okay. I got to check on that. If anybody knows specifically online, let me know. But I think sunflower oil is okay as long as it's processed a certain way. Okay. Let's see. And the number one delicious oil, avocado oil. So with your pressed virgin olive oil, also your avocado oil is excellent. So you want to definitely use the two of those. Also, you should be intaking vitamin C, vitamin E, and vegetables. So if you can't eat vegetables raw, which we always say eat the vegetables raw, steam them, right? But you should be getting those vegetables, particularly like vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, all of those wonderful things have so many great vitamins. And guess what? Help against inflammation in the body. So we always want to look at that. Also, artichokes. I didn't even know that. Onions, leeks, and number one, garlic. Not necessarily garlic that's in a jar. Okay, whole garlic, the one that you actually cut up yourself. That's the best way to go. Um, and that came from ndanderson.org, that information that I just gave you. So I think that's important. I want to give you two websites because we're getting ready to end, but I want to give you two websites that I pulled some information from, and I have to go back to them, and I'm going to be watching constantly the information that they are providing. Some things I will take personally for myself. Some things I will not, because I'm not going through that. Okay. But I'm saying to you, we all need to live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle if you want to eliminate disease and sickness in your life. Okay. But remember, to what degree you do that is really based on you. So if you're healthy and there's no issues of any kind, then you probably are doing an excellent job of balancing the foods, right? And that's okay. But if for some reason you're having this, oh man, there's some things going on with my body, I can't seem to lose weight, I can't seem to do these different things, what am I going to do? You may want to consider that, because one thing I know, anti-inflammatory, guess what it does? It promotes weight loss. So if you actually start this type of lifestyle, you start to lose weight naturally.
And you don't have to take anti-inflammatory pills, right? Because that will cause something else to happen.
Exactly.
So you can do it a natural way.
Exactly.
And the other thing is what you were saying is that sometimes you can eat the way you eat and it's never a problem for you.
Right. And if that's you, that's fine. But always remember, there's 50% of the people out there, there's something going on, especially as you get older.
Yep.
Your lifestyles change, less activity, different things going on. The foods are changing. So if this is going to work for you, absolutely. And remember, if you already are a person that's dealing with cancer, you want to get rid of anything that's going to cause inflammation, because inflammation causes disease.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're talking to mostly to that population of people that are tuning in.
And so a lot of the times, if your knees are aching,
absolutely,
it could be the weight, but more than likely, you go to the doctor and they're going to say, "Oh, your knee's inflamed. All right, so we're going to give you an anti-inflammatory medicine."
But you know what? Why take medicine when you can literally increase your activity if you're able to stand, and even in that, change some ways that you're eating? One of the peanut butters that I was eating recently, guess what? I thought it was great because it only had 2 ingredients. Guess what? I'm not going to name what the peanut butter was, but it only had 2 ingredients. And remember, I told you the least amount of ingredients, the better. Well, this particular peanut butter, the ingredients was peanuts, which is excellent, but the other one was palm oil. Not good for someone who wants to decrease inflammation. Do you see what I mean? For someone else, that's perfect if they don't have a lot of inflammation in their body. But for someone like me, not good. Okay, so I'm going to give you those 2 YouTube people because I love giving them shout outs. Yes, yes, yes. First shout out I want to give is to Lacey Bear. Awesome young lady. Wonderful, wonderful. She has this 5-day anti-inflammatory diet meal plan online, and that's on YouTube. And I'm telling you, awesome. So I will be checking out more of her videos, but I'm recommending that one, okay? And then the second one is by Bobby Parrish, and he has it's called Flav City with Bobby Parrish. Oh my goodness, he has this one. It's called the best anti-inflammatory foods at the grocery store, at what and what to avoid.
And he takes you in the grocery store.
He takes you in the grocery store. He takes you to all the grocery stores we go to, y'all. And he's going to tell you the prices. He goes through everything with you. The point is, he gets you engaged in what it is you need to be. And that's what we need. Okay. See, I can sit here and talk to you about cancer and all that kind of stuff and this research. And that's why I like to bring individuals like this, give you information that you can now look into that any research, anyone who knows what they're talking about, and these young people know what they're talking about. So I encourage you on your off time, take a look at what they're talking about and see if it can help you when you're going grocery shopping. Okay. Anything last you want to say, Pastor Darrell?
Nope. Don't get swole.
Don't get swole. Right. So anti-inflammatory. We want to live a anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Okay. I'm so glad you tuned in with me today, Sunday, 8 p.m. Let's tune in next week because guess what? It's number 20. We should have a celebration party for number 20. All right.
We gotta watch what you eat. So.
Yeah, we gotta watch what we eat. Maybe you know what I'll do? We're gonna cook something special.
And we're gonna eat it in front of you.
And I'm gonna do it live. How about that, y'all? That'd be nice. All right, I will see you guys later. I said that's right, party. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Be blessed. Bye-bye.